It has all come down to this. Chris Borich, the 5-time GNCC champion, and Walker Fowler, the young gun, trying to unseat him. One final round remains. They're tied in the series points. The Ironman Grand National Cross Country Race next. Welcome to the grandest of grand finales, final round of the 2014 AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Maxxis. All these riders fighting for an AMA National Championship, and all these riders, over 2,300 different competitors this weekend. The Ironman facility just outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. On today's show, we're going to focus on the Pro ATV Championship, which has come down to two riders. Walker Fowler on the number 2, surging late in the season and clearly having fun doing it. Challenging Chris Borich, who is the 5 straight time Grand National Cross Country Champion. And he's won those 5 titles in dominant fashion. So to see it come down to a winner-take-all showdown in Indiana is something these fans are pumped for. So pomp and circumstance before we get racing. There's Borich. Going to see a lot of pink livery with the riding gear and the machines today. We're racing in October. Representing for breast cancer awareness. There's Fowler, good to go. There are, of course, other riders that could win the race today, but only one has done so far. Adam McGill took a victory at mid-season, but Fowler and Borich have won the rest. But what's happened in the past is the past. This is a pressure cooker. Everything on the line today. I'm Jason Wygant giving you the race call, and it is McGill, in fact, grabbing your whole shot. Going to pick up some money from Twin Air and DeRisi Racing. Man, second half of this year, McGill has been lights out on the starts. Little mistake there, though, going to open the door. And I think from the stand-up style, that is Chad Wienen. Chad Wienen is your ATV motocross champion, coming out here and trying a cross-country race. And what a phenomenal way to get it started by jumping out to the early lead here in Indiana. And he's comfortable. The early parts of the racetrack are, in fact, a motocross section. They use this track for the Pro Motocross Championship for bikes. Once they negotiate this, then they'll head into the woods, and that's cross-country racing proper. But for now, Wienen's got to feel comfortable out front. I believe I saw Fowler in third. A little bit further back is Borich. Down into the woods we go. McGill wrestling the lead back away from Wienen. All 6'4", bad Chad there trying to maneuver through the trees. Fowler is indeed in third. Borich about 6th. No worries there. This is a 2-hour race, so plenty of time to make moves. And McGill wants to be the spoiler today. Already moving out a bit from the field. Here's Wienen. Look at Fowler looking to find running room, make moves. Jared McClure, Jay Shadron come through next. Then it's Borich, Bryson Neal, Chris Bithell. Now it's key to point out how it works here. These are the XC1 Pro Class riders. There are a ton of amateur riders out here as well. They will eventually become lap traffic. Not easy to get around lappers when you got trees on both sides, by the way. As Wienen continues to try to fight off the charge of the very experienced cross-country riders. McClure has gotten around Fowler. Then it's Borich. Then the young kid, Shadron, rookie in the class. Neal, relatively new to this class as well, comes through next. And it's Landon Wolf coming through. Brent Sturdivant, Kevin Yoho. I believe that's Brian Wolf. These guys are covered in mud right now. And this is the cross-country proper we were talking about. Ups and downs, tree roots, mud, and trying to find the lines through all the leaves and the trees. Fowler has snaked his way up to second, Borich third. Look at how fast these guys are going now. Ordinarily, these 2-hour races, riders kind of play it cool early on, but I've got to think with the title in the balance, it's really hard to do. And look, Fowler has already pushed his way into the lead, and Borich is up to second, so they have taking the measure of McGill and everyone else. This hill climb is like a wall. Just watch this. Some of the best riders in the world struggling. And then this is Ironman Hill, the biggest, steepest of them all. And a huge crowd has ventured all the way back here. This is a good mile or two from the start. They actually run a school bus to bring the spectators back there. That's some of the best action you're going to see all year. And we've got the three big guns. The three riders that have won races this year are 1, 2, 3, with a title hanging in the balance. Racer TV is brought to you by Amsoil, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. ATV battle for the day win and the season championship here from Indiana. Walker Fowler out of Ohio is your race leader, and right now that would put him in the points lead if the race ended like this, because there is a tie between he and Chris Borich in the standings, and Borich is right behind him. Now, if you want to talk momentum, Fowler has won 5 of the last 6 races. Borich basically did the same at the beginning of the year. So the second half of 2014 has been all about the 21-year-old here leading the way. And Borich, he's got some fans down there pointing out the good lines, the Borich Bandits. Oh, look at McGill, very sly, hanging in the fight, also looking to take advantage. Borich back in the day used to wait until the final lap to make his charge, but he is not doing that now. Fowler has just become too fast, too strong. You can't let the kid hang out there in the lead, and you can see the champion has responded. He is staying right on the back grab bar of Fowler. No hanging back at all, and McGill doing the same in third. What a great place to settle it. This Ironman track really has a little bit of everything. We saw the wide open fields in the motocross earlier. Now we've got these big hill climbs, some mud, tree roots and rocks, and the largest crowd of riders and spectators we've ever seen at one of these races. Got to be tens of thousands of people here to go along with the 2,300 racers on hand through our ATV and bike divisions. We will have highlights for our bike race a little bit later in the show, but the focus is on this, the winner-take-all ATV showdown. And is there any question about how the young kid, Fowler, is going to handle the pressure? No problem so far, continuing to lead Borich around. Now, Borich has been through these wars. He had to dethrone the 9-time champion Bill Ballance back in the day, and they had some incredible fights through the years. So Borich knows what it's like to have every point count, to have your back up against the wall, to be in a must-win situation. But Fowler, who came through the ranks of Grand National Cross Country as a youth champion on both 4 wheels and 2, did it on bikes and ATVs, absolutely demolished his amateur classes. In the stepping stone division to this, XC2, he actually had a perfect season a couple of years ago. But moving into this XC1 class and having to slay the dragon that is Chris Borich has been daunting for even him. McGill continues to roll strong in third. Shout out to Jared McClure and Bryson Neal, who are also battling inside the top 5. But all eyes are on this, the showdown everyone wanted to see. They quickly moved up to 1 and 2. And now it looks like Borich is putting a little heat on the kid in front of him. This is the halfway mark, 2 laps down, 2 laps to go. Dropping back into the woods. And Borich seems content back there in second. He's going to let the kid handle the pressure. One little mistake, by the way, and McGill will be right back in it. Back to the hill climbs. Just all over that rev limiter is Fowler trying to get to the top. Fowler on the Ampro and Fab Yamaha. Borich back by Maxis on his Suzuki. Now they got to dig their way through the mud. Those ruts are only going to get further and further dug out all day long. And again, don't forget lap traffic. It's bound to be a factor. I think we're getting there now. And you have a slower rider make a mistake on one of these hill climbs when you're at the bottom, and boy, you are in some serious trouble. To the top we go. Fowler just able to get up it, and Borich blocked by a slower rider. Could have been a disaster for either. Now a big downhill. These guys are just aces. I mean, the pace they are running, and still very few mistakes. This is impressive. You're seeing the best each has to offer. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. It's the AMSOIL Ironman GNCC, an AMA National Championship presented by Maxxis. Let's give you the highlights of our bike race. Look at this crowd. And remember, GNCC will run a youth race, then an amateur race, and then all these riders are just left for the pro and expert level divisions. Paul Wibley out of New Zealand on the M-Pro NFAB Yamaha going to grab the holeshot. He is the holeshot master, picking up more money from All Balls Racing. But this is cool. Ryan Sipes, the former motocrosser, finally getting to stretch his legs on an actual motocross track. Moves into the lead. Then Charlie Mullins, former GNCC champion, around Sipes. So this is Sipes here in second on his Rockstar WMR KTM. The factory FMF KTM here of Mullins into the lead. But you gotta watch for Kailub Russell. He's this year's GNCC champ. See these kids on the 450s battling it out, Mullins and Sipes. But Russell is back there on a 152 stroke somewhere. We're gonna try to find him. It's the rest of the field dropping in. There he is, into third. After working his way through that pack, got a lot of talent out here. He's up to third now, trying to challenge on that little 152 stroke. Yeah, getting it. Trying to maneuver his way past Sipes and Mullins. Good racing up front. You also got Josh Strang in the mix on the Rocky Mountain ATV MC Yamaha. He won our last race in a great battle with Russell. These guys would really scrap it for a lot of the day. Andrew DeLong getting into the fight there on the Husky on the number 10. You also want to watch Chris Bach, who's an Indiana native, on the Rockstar Honda. But look at Russell. Once he got into the lead, he absolutely took off. Said he knew what he needed to do. In the wood sections, the 150 was not as much of a disadvantage, so he really tried to put time on there. He knew on the motocross track and in those fields, he was dead meat, so he pulled as big a gap as he could before they got back to the moto track, and the gap was big enough to where they couldn't see him. When you can't see him, it's a lot harder to run him down. Nice little challenge for Russell, really for himself, to try to win one of these races on a 150, and what's even cooler, they're gonna raffle the bike off for charity. Our good friend Rory Mead, one of our top riders, injured at the beginning of the year. The proceeds are going to go to him. And Russell is going to make sure the bike you win is a bike that wins, because he cruises across the line. This is incredible. A 152 stroke. Listen to that. Wins the overall here, the Ironman. Doesn't even sound like a 150. Sounds like a darn 50. Russell has slayed the Giants on the little two-stroke. The fans absolutely love it. Good job by him. And a shout out to our buddy Rory Mead. Strang came up for second, outdueling Sipes. DeLong fourth, Stuart Baylor fifth. Mullins, still coming back from a wrist injury, drops back to 10th. And your final point standings brought to you by AMSOIL. Russell again, your champ. Strang outduels Ashburn for second. We'll be back with our ATV finale. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Powering through the fields, Walker Fowler trying to run and hide from Chris Borich and take his first ever Grand National Cross Country Championship in the Premier XC1 division. But you don't have to look far behind Fowler to see the defending series champ Chris Borich, who has kept the kid in sight all day long. And at some point, you've got to wonder, What's it going to come down to? The speed appears about equal today. The machines are obviously working great as we check in with Adam McGill, who's back in third. Is it going to be pressure? Is it going to be a mistake? Fatigue? Or will it simply be a battle of wills? What is going to tip it? Because with every move Fowler has made leading this thing, Borich has figured out a way to match it and stay right there. The question is, can Borich inch up on him? Maybe right here in lap traffic? Or is Fowler going to be able to maintain this all the way home? Look out! Close call there with the lapper. You can see, now that we have the motocross track here at the Ironman, plenty of running room to make passes. Woo! On both the lap riders and maybe on each other. And the fans have to be getting more and more tense as well. We are about to head into the final lap of the year, and Walker Fowler will do it in the lead. Halfway through this season, Fowler was nearly 50 points down on Borich, and Borich, already with 5 titles in the bank, you had to figure was going to win this thing. And somehow Fowler has put him up against the ropes. He's put his back against the wall. Borich is going to have to find something special on this last lap. However, the last lap is the specialty of Chris Borich. For the last 5 years, he's been doing exactly this, stalking the riders and then passing them in the last lap, saving something for the end. Can he do it in year 6? Or will Fowler be the first to win a youth title, an amateur championship, the Pro-Am title, and the Premier Pro Class title? And still a little gap, but look at Borich, a whole new line. Oh, but he barely can get to the top, a huge risk. Will it pay off on the other side? Yes, it does. Chris Borich waited to the last lap to find the line again, and now Fowler's coming back hard. When Chris Borich most needed it, he pulled one out of his bag of tricks again. But the speed that Fowler has shown the last couple of races, he has the ability to get back around. That's something no one had done for years. But look at Borich calmly, surely, starting to extend it, even a look over his shoulder. The Borich fans there in the yellow shirts going crazy down there. Now the Yamaha people. All the way to the outside, now the inside, side by side they are. Fowler just blasting through the water. They come together, they bump. Unbelievable racing, and the fans are actually getting involved, pushing them to get out of those ruts. Fowler back to the lead. Some of the best racing we have ever seen, and when you consider how much is on the line, it might be the best cross-country race of all time. And is it over? Has Fowler figured out a way to finally conquer Chris Borich into the famous cornfields of the Ironman? Fastest speeds will hit in this series all year long, probably 60, 70 miles an hour. And Walker Fowler appears to be in control. But that motocross track, which is new to this facility, lays between them and the finish line. As do a few lap riders, Fowler able to clear it. He has opened it up. What does Borich have left in the tank? Can the champion dig down deep? Look at Fowler, perfect body English, throwing those quads in there. Onto the motocross track, and Borich has closed it back up. A 13-race season is going to come down to one final lap around this motocross track. Borich around the outside. Fowler just trying to protect the insides. He gets kicked, hits a bump. Borich able to maneuver past. Now it's Fowler on the inside. Can he beat him to the exit of the corner? Wheel to wheel. He's going to try to shut Borich down right into the hay bales. Borich bumps him right back. Chris Borich has stolen the lead. The fans are going crazy. Just 2 turns separate them. Fowler's got to try something now. He goes from outside to inside, tries to square him up. Not going to happen. Chris Borich wins the race and the championship. Unbelievable. And there is Borich, standing in victory And the first person to congratulate him is Danny Fowler, Walker Fowler's dad. There is Fowler, who has to be dejected to come within about 5 turns. Here's your Rocky Mountain ATV MC replay. Borich made the pass before this. Fowler trying to come back. And it's just a game of chicken down into this corner. Fowler's on the outside. He's going to try to squeeze Borich off. They kept it clean. Little bit of contact here. Considering how much is on the line, I don't think anyone's going to cry foul over that. Unreal. There are your AMSOIL results. McGill, a good race all day for third. We mentioned McClure and Neal there in the top 5. Yoho, Shadron, Weenan, great run for him. Johnny Gallagher, Landon Wolf round out in the top 10, and there's the final margin. A victory in the standings. Yes, a victory is worth 5 points more than second place. That's the final margin for Borich, now 6-time Grand National Cross Country Champion. Unbelievable. I can't say it enough. Here's your AMSOIL race recap. Adam McGill, whole shot, fist pump to go with it. Chad Weenan would make the move around him. Motocrosser led a little bit, but soon it would boil down to the title contenders, down to the final lap, the final corners, everything on the line. They gave it everything they had. Chris Borich able to get the better of Walker Fowler and emerges champion again. Incredible race, an incredible season. Thanks for joining us all year long on Racer TV. I'm Jason Wygant. Congrats to Chris Borich.